What's happening around the world and what's happening here at home? A very good evening to and welcome to Primetime News. I'm Sandhu Ferdinando, and joining me tonight with our sign language interpretation is Taraka Gabriel. Let's now take a look at your headlines for tonight.
Involved in fiery exchange of words in Parliament. Jambure Valatero, who sought relief for the spouses of war heroes who was arrested by the police, granted bail. Aflatoxins detected in seized containers of coconut oil in Dankotua. Mrs. World involved in Mrs. Sri Lanka bust-up appears before the police.
First up in news here at home, parliamentarians of the Samagi Janabala Vega wore black armbands today to oppose the cancellation of Ranjan Ramanayaka's parliamentary seat. A tense situation erupted in the chamber following the remarks expressed by MP Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca after the opening remarks of the opposition leader Sajith Premadasa.
Honourable Speaker, when I was listening to the remarks expressed here, I was reminded of the way in which the government from 2010 to 2015 treated me in a harsh and unfair manner. The Speaker at that time is in the chamber now. I was punished by the army and kept in remand custody for 8 months. We then appealed against the decision in 3 courts. The Speaker at that time, who is seated opposite me, did not allow me to enter Parliament although the appeals had been filed.
අපි උසාවි 3කට අපීල් කරා. අපීල් 3ව තියෙද්දි මට දඩුවම දුන්න දවසේ ඉඳලා මේ කතානායකවරයා මෙතන වාඩි වෙලා ඉන්න. මට පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට එන්න දුන්නේ නැහැ. මම අනුමත කරනවා. කියන්න මයික් එක දෙන්න. මයික් එක දෙන්න. ඒකට එන්න අවසර දුන්නේ මමයි.
I was the one who allowed you to enter Parliament. We made the relevant decisions by considering the facts in the Erskine May Parliamentary Practice Book. You are asking me what I am referring to.
Erskine May ඒ පොත්වල තිබෙන කරුණු සලකලා බලලා තමයි කටයුතු කරේ. මොකක්ද කියලා අහන්නේ? තවුනාතර දුන්නේ නැද්ද මේකට එන්න? පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට එන්න අවසර දුන්නේ නැද්ද? අහගන්නේ මොකක්ද ඇයිද? या बोरोड तवसे हाइये पेन्नाने मोड बूरो तवसे स्टॉप कारण आनो हरि කරුණාකරලා නිශ්ශබ්ද වෙන්න අනිත් එක නිශ්ශබ්ද වෙන්න කරුණාකරලා නිශ්ශබ්ද වෙන්න එලියට යනවා පෙන්නන්න හයි සභාවේ වැඩ කටයුතු විනාඩි 5කට අත්හිටවනු ලැබේ.
Dani usia Dani ipadena bawa Dangge danduam Siu meli vadinam Alugo suane ella bange Dangge danduam Siu meli vadinam
Alugo කුපමණ ගුණ කළත් දුදුනෝ නොවේති යහපත්. මාගේ අතින් යම්කිසි මේ සභාවේදී කාගේ හරි රිදුණා නම් මම පළමුවෙන් මේ ගැන කඩගාටු වෙනවා.
ආචාර්ය හර්ෂද සිල්වා ගරු මන්ත්‍රීතුමා.
Although Dr. Harsha De Silva was clad in a decent attire, he had recorded the scenes in Parliament in which Fonseca had used foul language and then released it on Facebook with an indecent caption. This is a disgrace to the House. He had uploaded a video of a song being sung in Parliament in breach of parliamentary standing orders. There is no point in removing them only from the Hansard. He has done an unethical act. An inquiry must be carried out into this.
දෙයක් මෙයා කළා තියෙනවා. කරුණාකරලා මේක ගැන හොයලා බලන්න.
ඔබතුමා ඔය පුටුවේ වාඩිලා හිටියා. මම
You were present in the house at that time. I wanted to relate an experience of mine. Then Chamal Rajapaksa scolded me in foul language. You were present in the chamber at that time. Didn't you hear him use those words? He used those words against me. That is when the tense situation erupted. Words were exchanged at that time. We admit that, but I didn't start that. He then challenged me for a duel outside the chamber. Didn't he do that? This has gone on record. Were you deaf at that time? The speaker heard that.
නමුත් මම ඒක ආරම්භ කරේ නැහැ. ඊට පස්සේ මට ගහ ගන්න එළියට එන්න කිව්වා. හරි. මොකද නැත්තේ? රෙකෝඩ් වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඔබතුමාට කන් ඇහුන්නේ නැද්ද? කතානායකතුමාට ඇහුණා.
මේ තියෙන්නේ මගේ Facebook එක.
This is the video of my Facebook account. The caption reads a tense exchange of words between Chamal Rajapaksa and Sarath Fonseca in Parliament. Come here, let me show this to you. What does this say?
මේ එන්න. එන්න. ඇවිල්ලා බලන්න. මේ එන්න. මොකක්ද තියෙන්නේ මේකේ? ඔෆිසර් කෙනෙක් එවන්න. ඒක බලන්න පුළුවන්. Assistant Secretary General, why don't you come? Why don't you come? Look at this. මෙතන මේ නිකන්
We cannot respond to irrelevant matters here. Come and check this out.
ඇවිල්ලා බලන්න.
ඔබතුමා දැන් කිව්වනේ.
හරි
The opposition expressed critical views over the conduct of the chief government whip and the speaker today as well.
ගරු කතානායකතුමනි ඔබතුමා පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ
As the Speaker of the Parliament, you are responsible for maintaining the respect of the parliamentarians in both factions. But the Chief Government Whip has begun a practice of defaming opposition parliamentarians when we raise questions. We cannot allow that to happen. They are thieves.
The time is 11:35 a.m. now. This is a debate on the report of the April 21st attacks. They disrupted it in the morning. This is what the opposition is trying to do. This is what they do all the time. They try to give out comments to television channels in Parliament.
The people who broke chairs and flung Bibles in Parliament are calling for peace now.
I have never hurled a Bible in Parliament. It was Harin Fernando who brought a Bible to Parliament. A Bible was never kept in this house. Marika is expressing disgraceful remarks towards the Catholic faith. I therefore request for his remarks to be expunged from the Hansard.
Take a look at the Hansard and see who has spoken the most. You will understand it more than the Chief Government Whip does.
සමාජ මාධ්‍ය ජාලාවල සියල්ල තුල ඔබතුමාව හඳුන්වන්නේ කෝපි කඩේ පොලි මුදලාලි හැටියට. ඉතින් මං හිතන්නේ ඒක බරපතල අපහාසයක්. මොකද අපිට ලැජ්ජයි. පොලි මුදලාලි කෙනෙක් වගේ කෙනෙක් යටද මේ සභාව තුල හැසිරෙන්න කියන කාරණා.
එහෙම කොහෙවත් සමාජගත වෙලා නැහැ.
Such an impression has not been created in the society. Do not express disgraceful remarks towards the Speaker. That offends the entire Parliament. Therefore, please withdraw your remarks.
කරුණාකරලා ඒක ඉල්ල අස් කරගන්න.
එතුමා අබිලින් වගේ වැඩ කරන්න හදනවා කෝපි කඩේ. එතකොට ඒ වගේ ආල් පාරුවත් එක්ක මේ සභාව ගෙනියන්න බෑ කරු කතානායකතුමනි. ඔබතුමා මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ
Chamal Rajapaksa acted in a democratic manner when he served as Speaker. He has taken disciplinary action against us as well. You have given the opposition more time to raise points of order. They are taking advantage of the democratic freedom you have given them. They stand up and speak as they wish. Therefore, his entire statement must be removed from the Hansard.
නොදැනුවත්කම සහ නොතේරුම්කමත් එක්ක මේ කරන පාවිච්චි කරන අයට පිළිබඳ විනය පරීක්ෂණයක් කරන්න කියලා මම ඔබතුමාගේ ඉල්ලීමක් කරනවා. කරු කතානායකතුමනි සුදු වුණු වලට ආවේ
Honourable Speaker, do not be deceived by such remarks. You have been left helpless as a result of catering to all the needs of the government. This happened yesterday as well.
You are a senior and elderly individual. You are an experienced politician. Don't allow such disgrace to fall on you on social media. Conduct an investigation and take the relevant action if something is wrong. While public representatives engaged in a fracas in Parliament today, the people that they represent continue to live lives while facing a myriad of problems. These were the views expressed at a press briefing held today.
The government came to power pledging they would solve the problems of the people. They pledged to reduce the cost of living, to address the microfinance issues and write off the debt of farmers. However, President Rajapaksa recently claimed that he cannot do anything about these problems. He says he cannot control businessmen. What's the point of having an executive president if he cannot control and govern the business segments of this country? He should step down as a president and allow the general public to run this country. I am confident that the public would do a great job. The farmers would cultivate and sell their harvest, and the general public would purchase the harvest for their consumption. But the present government's activities have made things even more difficult for the general public to survive. In the guise of developing the country, the government has obtained more loans. But what about the people of this country? Have their lives developed? No, their lives are still stagnant. The people are suffering. They are struggling to make ends meet. The situation is such that people are pawning their jewellery to find money to celebrate the new year. Because of the new year, consumption has increased. The government is taking advantage of this situation and helping their business allies to earn more profits. The price of goods and services has skyrocketed, but the leaders of this country does not understand the struggle of the people.
අමාරු වෙන්නේ මේ රටට ආදරය කරන රටේ ජනතාවට ආදරය කරන පාලකයින්ට. අපේ රටේ පාලකයෝ දන්නේ රටේ ජනතාව කන විදිය. පාලකයෝ හිතාගෙන රටේ ජනතාව කන්නේ එක හාල් ඇටයක් නේ, එක මුං ඇටයක්, එක උඳු ඇටයක් නේ, එක එහෙම තමයි කනවා කියලා හිතාගෙන ඉන්නේ. ඒගොල්ලන්ට කන එක එච්චර ලොකු ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ නේ. ඒගොල්ලෝ කෑම කාලා ඒවා එළියටත් විසි කරනවා. හැබැයි අපි එක වේලක් කාලා ඊළඟ වේල කන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා තමයි අපි කල්පනා කරන්නේ. මේක වෙනස් කරන්න ඕනේ.
We need to change this system. The general public must unite to change all of this. The public is being pressured from all ends. On one hand, the government is implementing all sorts of rules and regulations to suppress the public from speaking against the government. On the other, they are increasing the prices of goods and neglecting the farming community. We must stand against all of this. This is a problem faced by the people. The leaders were elected by the people. So the people must unseat them from power.
කියන අපි මේකට එරෙහි වෙන්න ඕනේ. මේකට එරෙහිව අපි සටන් කරන්න ඕනේ. මේක ජනතාවගේ ප්‍රශ්නයක්. ඒ නිසා ජනතාව තමයි පාලකයෝ පත් කරන්නේත්. ජනතාව තමයි මේ වෙලාවේ පාලකයෝ එළියට ඇදලා දාන්නත් ඕනේ.
Venerable Jamburavela Chandaratana Thero, along with the Association of War Heroes Widows, took to the streets in Colombo Fort today, demanding solutions to their problems regarding salaries and allowances being provided. While the protesters continued their march, another group disrupted their demonstration. The police then arrested a suspect for the offence of executing the attack. Thereafter, Venerable Jamburavela Chandaratana Thero and another person were also arrested for causing damage to a police vehicle during the protest.
Someone from the police pelted stones at us during the protest. Thereafter, they arrested a monk. This was a planned attack. If this government is planning to arrest monks and carry out such criminal activities, we will have to work against such actions.
ඔයාලා වෙනුවෙන් මේ කරලා තියෙන්නේ අසාධාරණ
Members of the Association of War Heroes Widows remain near opposite the Fort Police Station, demanding the release of the Venerable Thero. Several Theros who visited the protest site alleged that Venerable Jamburuvela Chandaratana Thero is currently under the custody of the Colombo Fort Police. Thereafter, the protesters launched a satyagraha opposite the Colombo Fort railway station, along with the support of the Disabled War Heroes Association. Meanwhile, another protest was staged opposite the Maradana police station today. The protest was staged demanding the release of Malika Abekon, a journalist who was earlier arrested during a protest organized by the United Health Workers Union opposite the Ministry of Health yesterday.
He was attacked while he was taken to the police station after being arrested at the protest site. He was then beaten up twice after he was brought to the police station. They had punched him in the face as well. He has sustained injuries inside his mouth. He was assaulted inside the OIC's cabin as well. Now a license has been issued to attack people on the streets. These are signs of the beginning of a journey of an anti-democratic era. If journalists, freelancers, agitators and political activists can be attacked in such a manner, there will be no democracy left in this country.
Indigenous community members engaged in a special ritual seeking to stop environmental destruction in the Galvelayai area in Pollebadda. Meanwhile, the Satyagraha launched by the farmers of Mahianganaya entered its 23rd day today. These farmers have been staging the Satyagraha to support the farmers of Valsapukala who are demanding a managed wild elephant reserve. Farmers of Valsapukala have been staging a Satyagraha for 82 days, demanding authorities to gazette a managed wild elephant reserve in the area.
Do not try to deceive us. Plots of land in the proposed wild elephant managed reserve cannot be divided among the henchmen of politicians based on their whims and fancies. They cannot take steps to protect the environment by appeasing such individuals. Therefore, animals must be allowed to inhabit these lands instead of being harmed and left without a habitat.
The protest launched by the farmers of Madavatia entered its 21st day today. The farmers of Galgamua are staging a demonstration demanding a solution to the human-elephant conflict for the 24th day today.
A scientific solution can be given to this, but the lives of the people are at risk since they have not taken measures to adopt a scientific solution. As people struggle to find solutions for the ever-continuing human-elephant conflict, the Department of Wildlife Conservation today explained how people need to behave to avoid elephant attacks.
A prior notice has been issued to minimize travelling via elephant corridors and other danger zones during the night. Further, we advise the public to stay vigilant as a majority of the victims of these elephant attacks are those driving under the influence of alcohol or those engaged in illegal activities. According to data we have received, it was reported that several people had lost their lives as a result of wild elephant attacks that took place in warehouses that store wheat in the villages. Therefore, with the Department of Wildlife Conservation and the Ministry of Wildlife, we have decided to provide a number of containers for the farmers to store their wheat. However, the situation is different in the Ampara and Polonnaruwa districts due to inadequate ground space in those areas. We hope to implement alternative strategies during such situations.
Various factions have responded to the Forest Conservation Department's clarification over media reports of deforestation in the country. In its statement, the Forest Conservation Department said that the construction of a hotel in the Singharaja forest is taking place on an abandoned land. The statement added that the Pradesh Sabha had granted approval for the project.
The hotel is being constructed by obstructing an elephant corridor in Bopitiya Thanna. This is a hotel complex. It is currently being constructed. To avoid legal implications, the project is being carried out on the land by bringing it under the purview of 3 owners. Therefore, the construction is taking place on a land that is home to many water sources and an ecosystem.
The explanation given by the Forest Conservation Department on deforestation in the Rambakanoya was that the concerned land belongs to the Mahavali Authority. The statement added that talks are underway for further development activities as well.
A case has been filed in the Dehattakandiya court by the forest rangers in Mahaoya. The complainants point out that land has been cleared using bulldozers while boundary pillars installed in the northern area of the land by the Forest Conservation Department have been removed and the trees have been uprooted in addition to the soil being dug from the ground. If they claim that deforestation has not occurred, then we wish to question the reason behind the case.
The Forest Conservation Department had also rejected remarks made by Pupudu Jagoda stating that 62,000 acres of forest land had been destroyed during the last 15 months.
The entire expanse of land that has been cleared is 62,000 acres. This has appeared on a media report. It has been more than 2 months since this is published. It is the Forest Conservation Department and the Presidential Task Force which have commented on this. 15,000 acres of forest lands belonging to the Forest Conservation Department have been cleared for the Yarnoya project. 7,000 acres of land in Palwata belonging to the Forest Conservation Department had been acquired for this project as well. Now they have acquired 8,500 acres of land in Kandakadu in Polonnaruwa and started distributing it among various entities. Is the Forest Conservation Department denying all of this?
We
pointed out 296 locations in the country in which environmental destruction has occurred. They have only responded to 8 matters. When we subtract 296 from 8, that leaves us with 288 unresponded questions. Therefore, the statement implies that they have admitted 288 claims and responded to just 8 matters that they can defend.
288ක් පිළි අරගෙන පිළිගන්න බැරි සංහාරයක් විනාශයක් නොවුනා කියලා හිතන 8කට උත්තර දීලාද කියලා හිතෙනවා. මේ ලව් ලෙටර් වලින් මේ පරිසර ප්‍රශ්නේ වහන්න පුළුවන් කමක් නැහැ.
Continuing in more local news, attending an event in Polonnaruwa today, Minister Nama Rajapaksa said the government's stance is to provide goods to the general public at reasonable prices.
A program is being carried out to provide essential goods at a reasonable price through cooperatives and Satosa. If some injustice is taking place, be it through coconut or something else, the government not only intervenes directly to prevent it, but is also enforcing the law strictly. When enforcing the law, ranks are not considered. You can see various agencies enforcing the law. Tests have confirmed the presence of aflatoxins in coconut oil samples obtained from the 2 tanker trucks seized in Dangotua. The Sri Lanka Customs said this was confirmed based on the lab results of tests carried out by the Sri Lanka Standards Institute.
Meanwhile, the Parapuraka Balaya organization arrived at the Sri Lanka Standards Institute today to inquire about food items including toxic substances under the Right to Information Act. The group also held hoardings opposite the Standards Institute.
වගකීමක් ඇති ආයතනයක් වගකීමක් ඇති ආණ්ඩුවක වගකීම වන්නේ ඒ සැකය දුරු කරලා.
This is a responsible authority. It is the responsibility of the government to address this issue and restore confidence in the general public. Instead of solving these problems, the Sri Lanka Standard Institute, the subject minister and officials and even the president are wasting time for no reason. We are a group of individuals who decided to stand up against this issue. We thank the Borella police for providing security. We urge the authorities to arrest all corrupt officials at this institute.
ඔය ගේට්ටුවෙන් ඇතුල් වෙලා ඕක ඇතුලේ ඉන්න දූෂිත නිලධාරීන් ඒ කට්ටිය අත්අඩංගුවට ගන්න.
The President's Media Division has said that there are no restrictions in using palm steering of approved standards for food production despite the restrictions on palm oil imports. In a statement, the President's Media Division added that the President had decided to ban imports of palm oil immediately after considering the opinions of medical and food experts on the adverse effects of palm oil consumption. The statement went on to note that palm oil was being used in many food items such as biscuits, bakery items and various sweet treats. It added that studies have revealed that palm cultivation leads to soil erosion, loss of fertile land and loss of mineral water. According to the statement, the government had taken steps 6 months ago to ban the cultivation of palm trees and that existing palm cultivations would be cleared off in a phased manner, with 10% of the total remaining cultivation be cleared every year. The President's Media Division added that plans are underway to plant rubber or other environmental friendly trees on such cleared lands. Meanwhile, the Colombo Port City Economic Commission Bill was presented to Parliament today. During today's Parliament session, the opposition requested the Commission Bill be subjected to a parliamentary debate. Meanwhile, the National Bhikkhu Front expressed these views on the Port City Bill today.
The Port City Economic Commission Bill was presented in Parliament today for approval. This is an attempt to create a separate zone in the country where a different governance system will operate. This is an attempt to create another country within Sri Lanka. This act was published upon the instructions of the President on the 24th of March. This subject falls under the purview of the President. This act has repealed several important ordinances in Sri Lanka. This port city is an attempt to create a separate unit within our country where a separate governance structure will be implemented.
වෙනම නීති වෙනම බලයක් සහිත වෙනම රටක් ලංකාව තුළ නිර්මාණය කරනවා.
President's Counsel Nehal Jayawardena, who is involved in drafting the Colombo Port City Economic Commission Bill, expressed these views during a webinar yesterday.
Commission will take care of the landmass that has been reclaimed, and that landmass comprises of 292 hectares, out of which, in accordance with a tripartite agreement that was entered into in August 2016, 116 hectares or 43% has been agreed to be leased to the project company. The balance, out of the balance landmass, 62 hectares would be government marketable land. Government could market those lands to the investors. And there is another portion of land which again will be in the control of the government, 34% of the land. And with the coming into force of this act, the land that was vested with the UDA would be vested by operation of law with the Commission.
Public Security Minister Sarath Weerasekara had recently said that an individual known as Newsfirst Maulavi has been identified as the mastermind of the April 21st attacks. Questions were raised on the veracity of such claims in Parliament today.
2021 ජනවාරි මාසේ 8 වෙනිදා ඇමරිකාවේ අධිකරණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව
On the 8th of January 2021, the US Department of Justice filed charges against 3 Sri Lankans. They are Mohammad Newsfirst alias Newsfirst Maulavi, Mohammad Anwar Mohammad Rizkhan and Ahmad Milhan Hayat Mohammad. Mohammad Newsfirst has been identified as the second emir of the ISIS group. However, they haven't identified Newsfirst Maulavi or Mohammad Newsfirst as the mastermind of the bombings. The person was not brought before the commission to at least give evidence. Based on the evidence produced in the US, we are deeply suspicious whether they are trying to protect the mastermind by making Newsfirst Maulavi the scapegoat.
You are speaking on behalf of Newsfirst Maulavi today as well. Is that justifiable? Based on your remarks, are you saying that you only trust the report of the FBI?
The FBI and the local units have expressed the same thing. This is what I said previously as well.
They didn't accept the reports of intelligence units previously as well. That is what paved the way for these attacks.
The
government seems to be agitated when we question about the masterminds of the April 21st attacks. They are trying to produce a dramatic performance before the 21st of April, so they are choosing the mastermind just as it is done in beauty pageants. The bombings had occurred on the 21st of April, but Naufar Maulavi was arrested only on the 24th. This is a few days after the bombings, and this too was done under our government.
ඉතින් ඒ අල්ලගත්ත නවුපර මවුලවි තමයි තෝරාගෙන හෝ 10 20 30 40 50 60 වෙනකොට නවුපර මවුලවි ඉන්නවා නම් ඔන්න පොලිසිය බාර ඇමතිවරයා නවුපර මවුලවි තමයි මහමුලකරු.
The discourse on Ranjan Ramanayake continued to figure heavily in Parliament as the opposition leader and the speaker engaged in a debate over the ability of Ranjan Ramanayake to appeal against his removal from Parliament.
Honorable Ranjan Ramanayake has every right to appeal the decision of the Court of Appeal. Up until the appeal process commences and an ultimate final verdict is provided by the Supreme Court, it is the decent thing, it is the right thing, it is a convention for this House to ensure that he remains a member of Parliament. And I want to ask you, why are you all in a hurry to send out this letter when we proposed leave of absence? You all were very quick to show the fact that there's a court case going on and that this leave of absence motion will be denied on that basis. No. Honorable Speaker, unfortunately, with great regret, I have to tell you that there seems to be a conspiracy to deprive Honorable Ranjan Ramanayake of his MPship. What will happen if the Supreme Court decides that his MPship is to remain, that he is a valid member of Parliament? Are you going to reverse the process?
Wait.
Why are you in a hurry to send this letter out to the Election Commission or the chairman of the commission to expedite this matter? Unfortunately, majority of my friends on the opposite side of the aisle do not have the literacy levels to understand my argument. I'm sorry about that. Maybe you should conduct some classes to enhance their literacy levels and their educational levels.
Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, sir.
Thank you, Honorable. Yes, you have conveyed your idea. Let me explain myself. Right? The whole of your speech, your request is baseless, because Secretary General of Parliament, he has acted, it is according to the judgment that has been given, acted upon the Constitution, and it has been supposed to be a ministerial duty, where no person can question or no person can question about it.
Of course you can say
that is also a wrong conception that you are going to give.
Honorable Speaker,
that you are going to bring a wrong conception of the country. This Premalal Jayasekara he has appealed to the courts, and with that appeal, we didn't bring him immediately after the election. We brought him into the house only after he had made his appeal, and he became under bail act, he became a remand prisoner. Then only that we got him murdered.
You are denying him his human right.
Totally wrong conception.
His political right, Honorable Speaker.
Don't mislead the country. Don't mislead the country. Right. Thank you. Now let's finish here.
It's time now for another commercial break. Stay tuned.
Do your online shopping now with Sambole.lk to get it home delivered or pick up on your way.
Sambole.lk.
Welcome back. Mrs. World Caroline Jury and model Chula Padmendra, who were arrested by the Cinnamon Garden police over the Mrs. Sri Lanka bust up, were released on bail today. The two suspects and Mrs. Sri Lanka Pushpika De Silva appeared at the Cinnamon Garden police station this afternoon as part of an ongoing investigation into the recent incident. Mrs. World Caroline Jury and model Chula Padmendra were arrested by the police and granted bail afterwards. Police said that the two suspects were ordered to appear before the Colombo Magistrates Court on the 19th of April.
මම පස්සේ කියන්න. මං කිව්වනේ මම පස්සේ කියන්නම් කියලා. අපි උදේ 10 ඉඳන් පැය 4ක් තිස්සේ
We have been trying to settle this matter since 10 this morning. I requested them to convene a media briefing and apologize for the disgrace they caused. I insisted that they mention my name and apologize for their disgraceful actions. But they refused to do it. Since they refused to do so, I along with my lawyer decided to take legal action against them. What is the fate that has befallen the people in rural Sri Lanka as the bus stop at Mrs. Sri Lanka beauty pageant continues to take center stage in the country? 52-year-old E.R. Premaratne is a farmer and a father of 3. Premaratne had attended a funeral last evening and had begun his return back home at around 2 this morning. However, little did he know that it was his final journey as a wild elephant attack claimed his life. The residents of Ratmalkandia spend their days and nights in fear due to the worsening human-elephant conflict.
An elephant corridor runs alongside a village. Elephants have not travelled outside these corridors previously. That is because they were inhabiting a reserve. Since the forest reserve have been affected, the elephants have no place to go.
The failure to provide a solution to this problem exposes the lives of farmers like Premaratne to risk by the passing minute.
The Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, in its monetary policy review for April, decided to maintain the standing deposit facility rate and the standing lending facility rate at their current levels of 4.50% and 5.50%. During a media briefing today, Central Bank Governor Professor W.D. Lakshman said that discussions are underway to obtain loans from Middle Eastern countries.
According to the central bank, Sri Lanka's foreign reserves declined to $4.1 billion in March of 2021 from $4.58 billion in February.
Now, among the contingency plans, we are already in a swap program with the People's Bank of China. There is a much delayed loan facility coming also from China Development Bank. In addition, we are moving in the direction of finding other sources of funding, quick disbursement kind of funding. Overseas trip also is with that intention in mind. Within the next few weeks, there should be more positive things to be informed.
Mind my asking, where is the overseas trip?
Now the present one is to the Middle Eastern region.
Meanwhile, the rupee further weakened today and fell to a historic low of 203.5 rupees against the US dollar.
And with that, wrap up news for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. Do take care and good night.